Hello everyone, welcome back. I got in a new muzzle brake for us to play with, okay? So Sharp's Badlands, this is supposed to be a muzzle brake and a blast deflector in one. Now, I generally hate using muzzle brakes because they send all that noise back. And generally I find that like having a muzzle brake that's overly loud actually ends up being so much of a distraction that I shoot worse with. Okay, so I tend to shoot better with quieter guns, right? Um, Even if there's a little bit more recoil, right? So this has so basically it's got backward facing ports, okay, and then it's got the shield around it, which essentially turns the gases around and sends them back forward. Now, anytime you got gases going forward, there's going to be back pressure, okay? But what's happening here is, in that, with these ports sending the gas backwards and then the shield turning them back around, it kind of like a lot of that energy is dissipated. So what I expect, I don't know for sure, but I expect that this to be about half as effective as an unshielded muzzle brake. Okay, that's kind of what I'm expecting. So this is 3D printed, which is really, really interesting, right? If this is 3D printed metal, it's stainless steel metal, but it is 3D printed. So when you hold this, right, you're gonna feel that, it's not quite as smooth as some of the other muzzle devices that you may have handled in the past, and that's something I do not care about. Okay, if you look in there, right, if you look at like inside of it, you're gonna see like little, like it looks like it's been 3D printed, right? It looks like something that's like it's normally plastic 3D printed, except that this is metal. This is stainless steel. But you'll definitely be able to pick up you'll be able to see a difference in the texture, and that matters absolutely nothing to me. But I just wanted to make you guys aware of it. Okay, so they got two sizes. Okay, the hole over here, the primary hole where the projectile comes out, is the same. Okay, whether you're shooting 223, 308, 9mm, right? You could shoot everything up to 9mm through this hole over here. Okay, but the threads in the back come in two sizes. They come in 1/2 by 28, right? That's gonna go on your typical AR-15. Okay, and then you got 5/8 by 24. That's gonna go on your 300 blackout on your 308 gun. Okay, so I bought this primarily for the purpose of putting on my 308 gun. Okay, but what I want to do is before I put this on the 308 gun, I wanted to test it first on an AR-15 shooting 5.56. Because basically it's just more points of comparison. Okay, now the standard by which I'm going to be judging this against, okay, is this Radical Firearms muzzle brake. Okay, so this is a two-piece. There's a piece here that screws in. This is excellent. Okay, this is pretty damn close to the performance of a suppressor, right? There's a cone inside, so there's an expansion chamber, and then there's like a cone inside. The inner chamber has something like 12 holes. Then you have a cone, and then you got 4 holes. Okay, so this works pretty good at three things: as a muzzle brake, okay, because the cone sends the gases backwards; as a noise reducer. I can shoot this 11.5-inch AR pistol with earplugs. Okay, I generally have pretty sensitive ears. In the past, before I put a muzzle device like this on it, I would have to double up on my ear protection. Even if I have a 7.5-inch AR, I have to double up on ear protection. When I would shoot this 11.5-inch with the linear comp, and the one I would use is the one that's on this rifle right here, the Kaw Valley. Okay, when I shoot this, I have to wear earmuffs I really can't get away with wearing just the earplugs. It is a little bit uncomfortable. I mean, I can usually get away with it for 1 or 2 shots. Now this is a 13-inch barrel, so this is going to be a little bit longer than this 11-inch over here. So we're going to be putting the Badlands on the 13-inch, so it's going to have a bit of an advantage as far as trying to get quieter, okay? Because we're going to be comparing it to the 11.5-inch, which has the Radical firearms, and I'm also going to compare it to that Kaw Valley that's currently on there. Now, what I have here, where did I put it? Oh, here it is. In order to get this on this AR-15, because remember, I got this to fit my 308 gun, what I bought is an adapter, which I got on eBay. Not eBay, I got it on Amazon I got 2 of them for $10, okay? 2 of these adapters that I'm going to basically screw into this muzzle device, which is then going to allow me to screw in to my AR-15, okay? So let's get one of these guys out. So these supposedly are stainless steel. They feel very light, you know, I mean, but yeah, it said stainless steel because I had other ones that said aluminum. I got the ones that were stainless steel. So what we're going to do is we're going to thread this into this. See how that goes in. There it goes. Okay, so that's going in nice and smooth. Okay, and what I'm going to do is before I actually put it on that gun, I'm going to fire my Radical firearms. I'm going to fire the Kaw Valley, and then I'm going to unscrew this, because what I did with the Kaw Valley one is I already loosened this thing up. I took the crush washer out and I have hand tighten it so I can do a fast swap. Okay. All right, so let's shoot these. And again, I am shooting with with these little ear cushions, and I can tell the difference with the ear cushions between my Radical firearms and the Kaw Valley. There's a significant difference. The Radical firearms, as long as I'm standing, I can comfortably shoot with just the ear cushions. If I go prone or if I'm shooting off of a long table, the sound kind of reflects back. And then even with the Radical firearms, I have to use earmuffs. With the Kaw Valley, I generally have to use the earmuffs, but I can get away with 1 or 2 shots with the ear cushions. I don't like it, but the point is I can tell the difference. Okay, let's get the camera a little bit closer. Okay, so first, I'm going to shoot the Radical firearms. I have a whole bunch of magazines here loaded with just 2 rounds. And what I'm going to do is, instead of shooting my steel targets, I'm just going to shoot into the dirt because I want to get a better sense of the loudness, okay? A little bit brighter. Okay, so that's pretty comfortable. I mean, just with the, pull my hood back so you guys can see that. Just with the ear cushions, that's pretty comfortable. Okay. All right, so that was the 11.5-inch. Now we're going to do the 13-inch with the Kaw Valley. Now, both of these guns are gassed so that they're ejecting at 4 o'clock. Okay, and that's important because if you have a gun that's over-gassed and you're ejecting forward, what that means is that your bolt is opening up a little bit faster and more of your noise is coming out of the ejection port, okay? That's what's referred to as port pop, okay? So both of these guns are ejecting at 4 o'clock, so the gas is equally coming out of the front. Okay. I did not like that, okay? With these ear cushions, that was a pop there. I did not like that. Okay, let's put on, make sure the guns are loaded. Let's put on the Badlands now. Let's see how that is. This is going to tell us a lot, because if there's no significant improvement, right, on this 223, there's probably not going to be that much of an improvement on the 308. And if you compare these two, this is the Kaw Valley. So this has a single expansion chamber, right? So you got your chamber in there. It's closed off a little bit, so the bullet comes here. As it comes through, it kind of plugs up the hole. and then the gases come out of the outer circles. They kind of have the same idea here, although I expected these holes here to be a little bit smaller. I didn't expect them to be the outer holes over here to be small. So this is a lot bigger. So I expect this to work a lot better. Okay. Now, between the Badlands and the Radical firearms is heavier. Okay, so Radical firearms Spitfire does the three things extremely well. You know, it works as a muzzle brake. Okay, you know, to offset recoil. It works great for noise mitigation, and at night I can shoot it. Okay, when I shoot this gun here with the Kaw Valley, this gun is a flamethrower. The 13-inch is a flamethrower at night. I've posted videos. When I shoot the Radical firearms Spitfire in the 11.5 inch, you can barely see flash. Okay, so that's working really good. The only thing that's costing us is a little extra weight. So the Badlands I can see is lighter. Okay, that is lighter. Now, I did contact Sharps Brothers about mounting this. They said not to use a crush washer because you'll be able to get it deeper and more of the threads will catch and line up. So do not use a crush washer. They said to use some like rock set or something. Just okay. Right now I'm not, because I want to be able to switch back and forth. Okay. And the other thing that I also asked them about cleaning this. Okay. The guy said that, you know what, he's never had to clean it. It's not like a suppressor that builds up. It generally is self-cleaning, he said. Okay. Although, like I said, you could probably spray some brake cleaner. Like I clean my guns with brake cleaner. You know, if you wanted to get it clean, you could just use that. It is open enough that you could get it clean pretty easy. Okay. So we're just using the little ear cushions. We're gonna fire 2 rounds, and we're gonna see how this works. If there's an improvement. Because like I said, I did not like shooting the Kaw Valley, okay, with just the air cushions. Okay. Not much of an improvement. That's my honest opinion. Not much of an improvement. The Spitfire. Let's do that again. As far as the noise, we're gonna do recoil checking and stuff like that also, but yeah, that is a lot more pleasant to the ears, the Spitfire. Let's do this one again. 2 rounds. Okay, just the ear cushions. Yeah, it's definitely louder, okay? So what I want to do next, after I pick up my magazine, is I'm going to try and check for recoil. Okay, so what I'm going to do there, let's do this. I'm gonna get this guy off, and what I'm gonna do is the reason why I got the bipods is because I'm gonna shoot at distance. Oh, actually no. It's unscrewing from the. It's separated from the adapter. All right. The adapter off. Gotta get a tool. Give me a minute. We're going to put the Kaw Valley back on there, and we're going to shoot that from a bipod and see if there's any felt difference in the way it recoils. All right, this is the smallest one I can find. I know I got a smaller one somewhere. So the good thing about this being 3D printed is that, I mean, they could put out a couple of different versions that have different designs. Now, Radical Firearms is no longer producing this Spitfire. What I suspect happened, because it was working a little too good, so after 2020, right, when Democrats got into power, I think that they discontinued it because it was working a little too good. However, Biden and Democrats and is gone. Okay, the ATF, last I heard, is pretty busy. They've all been moved to the southern border. Okay, so the next 4 years at least would be a good time for a lot of experimentation to happen. Okay, and you know, they could put out a couple of different versions. I'd like to see them copy the Spitfire, the original Spitfire muzzle brake design, the one with the cone. Because there was another one that I've seen out there that doesn't have the cone. We want the one with the cone. The cone works really good. All right, so let's. Let's get this guy on here. So we're putting the Kaw Valley back on the 13-inch. All right. What's out of here? All right. So let's see. We'll have enough magazines loaded. That's good. Empty. Okay, so I've got 4 mags loaded. Okay, again, so just with the ear cushions. Actually, I gotta get a magnifier for that one. Actually, no, I'll just shoot them without the magnifier. Just want to keep everything equal. Actually, let me do that again with the magnifier. Got a good sense of what that recoil feels like with the magnifier and the other gun. Make sure it's nice and tight. So I just shot that at about 150 yards. That's good. Loud. Yeah, don't like that at all, especially from the sitting position for whatever reason. I mean, even though the muzzle's hanging off the end of the table, when I get to the sitting position, it feels louder. So I definitely did not like shooting that with the ear cushions. Okay, I would definitely want to be shooting that with ear muffs. I drop that muzzle. This Kaw Valley wants to be in the snow all day today. Get away. Okay. Let's do this again. Now we're using Badlands. Sharp Brothers Badland. Let's see how that feels. Holy shit, that was loud. Yeah, it's loud. Let's try 150 yards. Yeah, that's the loudest. From this position, it didn't feel that much louder when I was standing, but in the sitting position now, of the three, with the 223, the Badlands is the loudest. Okay, it's actually louder than the Kaw Valley, and definitely louder than the Radical Firearms Spitfire. So you know what? It was so loud that I was actually concentrating more on the noise than I was on the recoil, because again, that's one of the problems with noise, is it distracts you it distracts you. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put on some earmuffs. I'm going to put on some earmuffs. And by the way, I'm using Tula, so if anything, this stuff is a little underpowered. So it generally tends to be a little bit quieter, just because the velocity is a little bit less. Let me get some regular earmuffs in a minute. All right, so I got some full-size earmuffs, and this is now going to allow me to just concentrate on the recoil rather than being distracted by the noise. Yeah, I was actually surprised. I just looking at the design, because I saw a cutaway of this design. I didn't expect it to be quieter than the Radical. I expect the Radical to be quieter, but I did expect it to be a lot more quieter than this, than the Kaw Valley. All right, I did expect it to be quieter just because it's a lot bigger. It's a much, you know, it's just bigger. So that surprised me. Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna try to do a couple of shots in a row and try to get into a groove and try to get a sense of the felt recoil. So, as far as muzzle flash, right? When I'm looking through the 6X, I can, even now in the daytime, I can see the flash. With the Radical firearm Spitfire, at night I can't see any flash. Or rather, I can see at night I can see very little for flash. In the daytime, I can never see any flash. I mean, it's moving it. I mean, even this 223 is moving it a little bit. It's not like it's completely negating the recoil. Let's go to 150 yards. It's definitely there's definitely flash there. Let me go back to the Kaw Valley. All right, let's try to get into a groove, shooting at 150 yards, because that's a decent distance where I gotta like focus on my dot, make sure it doesn't come off the target. I have to try the other one again. If there's a difference, it's very little. Okay, 150 yards. It's a little bit better. Yeah, it's a little better. It's better. I mean, it is better than the Kaw Valley. I mean, it's not a huge difference, but it is a little bit better than the Kaw Valley. But all right, so we're gonna fire a few more. Okay, this is with the Badlands. Nice and tight there. Still got rounds in there. I want to do a fast switch. That's 150 yards, man. I mean, I'm just fucking nailing them, you know, because it's not moving off target. Let me put some more. What the fuck, man? I keep running out of ammo. Okay, 150 yards. Target is 12 inches wide by 2 feet tall. I mean, I don't think I was that much slower, but I do think I needed to work a little bit harder to drive it back on target. You know, I need a little bit more time to work with it, but I can definitely say that. I mean, I gotta get it on the 308. I mean, I think that's where that'll be the deciding factor if this is a keeper or not a keeper. On the 223 5.56, and again, I'm shooting Tula and I shot some Wolf. It wasn't like like there was, as far as the recoil, there was not that much of a difference between the Kaw Valley and this. Let's get the Kaw Valley back on there. I didn't do any fast shooting. Fuck, this thing's getting hot. Come on, get the fuck off there. Let me send a string out with the Kaw Valley. But I couldn't tell that much of a difference between the cheaper Kaw Valley one. Oh, this cocksucker's good. I do have a small pair of pliers somewhere. Now I will post a picture of the cutaway of this Badlands one. The good thing is it's 3D printed, so I think they could make a couple of modifications to the design. One of the things I noticed in the cutaway is like on the inner shield, it's got like these waves, right, to kind of like slow down that sound. What I would recommend is like at some point here in the middle, like bring it really deep, like really pinch it down in the middle, I think that would be better. I mean, a lot of it's experimental, but maybe the answer is like these little holes. The holes are here in the front. Maybe these holes need to be smaller. So they could, do a bunch of experimenting. Because like this one over here, like it's got 4 holes here, but then it's got like 12 holes back there. So there's basically like a little mini chamber in between here. And that's giving really good results. I mean, they could look up, if I can find an image of this, I'll post it so you guys can get an idea of how there's like a cone in there. I'm going to see how fast I can go with this Kaw Valley. So, I mean, I've been doing this 15 years, so I'm, I am bringing some experience to this table as far as shooting ability. So I can kind of make up a little bit for, like if the gun's like jumping offline, I can get it back online pretty quickly. But what I can tell you guys is I was working, between the Radical and the Badlands, I was working a lot harder with the Badlands to get it on target, to keep it there. I want to see what the Kaw Valley does. And like I said, the Kaw Valley is $35, and I've actually got a cheaper version of this from Fire that they sell for $20, and over the holidays they had it for $10. I'm going to put this on the 308. See how this is on the 308. The 308 is like, because I just have a flash hider on it, and that pulls me off target. It's hard for me to make fast follow-up shots with the 308. So if there's any improvement there, and like I said, I got this in the 5.8 by 24 because you can get an adapter on here for $10, and then you can put it on your AR-15s and your 308 guns, and your 300 blackouts, and your AR-47s. So that's what I'm going to recommend with that. All right, Kaw Valley, 150 yards. Let's see how fast I can go. definitely had to work hard with Kaw Valley. It seemed like I was working a little bit harder with the Kaw Valley to get back on target versus with the Badlands. So Badlands, as far as recoil management, seems to be an improvement over the Kaw Valley. Okay, I was working a little bit harder with that Kaw Valley. But the easiest was that Spitfire. And it's not, don't think I'm trying to promote Spitfire because they don't sell it anymore. Okay, it's not like I got a promo code or any shit like that. I don't, like I said, I don't even monetize the channel. As far as, because I've been trying to buy this and I can't buy it. Nobody's selling this. And I do hope they start selling it again because I would buy it again. I would definitely buy it for my 308. So I'm not trying to promote Radical Firearms. Rather, what I'm trying to do is get the word out that that's a really good design and other people should be copying it. Okay? So, these are my initial impressions. First day shooting this the Sharps Brothers Badlands. I mean, it is lighter than the Radical Firearms. It did give us improved recoil management over the Kaw Valley. I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to do on the 308. I'm going to probably play around with this for a few more days on the 223s, and if I see something different, I'll post a video. If I don't see anything different, then basically my opinion stands, and the next time you guys will see a video on this will be when I've got it mounted on my AR-10. Okay, so drop some comments. Let me know what you guys think. I'll give you guys another look at this bay. Okay, that's with the adapter in the back. The adapter worked really, really good. $10, so get the 5/8, and then you've got the option to, put on either your AR-15 or AR-10. And like I said, I'll include a cutout, where they slice this thing in half. In the image where they slice it in half, it looks like it has a completely different color and texture. So this is what it actually looks like. Not that I care. I mean, I just care about performance. I do not care so much about what it looks like. Yeah, so that's what I would recommend. They might want to try making these holes here a little bit smaller, right? That might have an advantage. And here in the middle, like just kind of like pinch it down a little bit, because they got like these waves on the inside, but get one of those waves to come in and pinch down towards the middle. Hey everyone, I want to do one more thing. The sun is setting. I want to shoot these muzzle devices at, now in the evening as the sun's going down, so we can get a sense of the muzzle flash. Now, the video that you saw a few minutes ago, that was done yesterday. Okay, so this is a day later. I wanted to give myself an extra day to just kind of, just come into this with like a fresh set of eyes. So I'm going to do the same thing. First, I'm going to shoot the Radical Firearms Spitfire. I'm going to shoot the Kaw Valley, and then I'm going to shoot the Badlands. Okay. Okay, 150 yards. This is with the Radical Firearms Spitfire. So from my perspective as the shooter, I couldn't see any flash. What I could see is as the target was getting hit at 150 yards, I could see the sparks, right, as the bullets were breaking up. So I could see through the 6x magnifier, I could see the sparks on the target at 150 yards. So that's actually good because, if you got too much of a flash, that takes away your ability to observe and see. Okay, so this is now with the Kaw Valley. So at this time, as I could see, as I was shooting, I could see a little bit of flash up front. Okay, I could still see the sparks on the target from the bullets hitting, but I could also see the spark up front. So let's change out this muzzle device. So we're taking off the Kaw Valley, and we're going to put on Sharps Brothers Badlands. Yeah, it's getting dark, so it's kind of hard to make out the target. Okay, so that's 150 yards between. Like I could see the sparks on the target at 150 yards with the 6x magnifier. I could see a little bit of the muzzle flash as I was shooting it. So with both the Kaw Valley and the Sharps Badland, I can see a little bit of flash, but it's not preventing me from seeing the sparks on the target. So it's not like an overwhelming flash from my perspective as a shooter under these lighting conditions. However, with the Spitfire, the radical firearm Spitfire, when I was shooting that, I couldn't see any flash out of the barrel, like in the glass as I was shooting. Okay, so I'm looking forward to seeing the video, to seeing what this Badlands looks like, and I wanted to shoot this like under these lighting conditions where it's not like completely dark, because I can kind of see the target, and I want one of the things I want, because I didn't want to just shoot the target like at 30 yards. I wanted to be able to like hold on something at distance, like in this case, 1 foot wide by 2 feet tall, and try to like keep that dot on target and see how fast I could go, and make accurate hits. And I wanted to see if the flash would obstruct that under these lighting conditions.